Hi, my name is Jackie Weaver. I'm known as the Animal Psychic. Now, that doesn't mean that I do future readings for animals. What it means is I can tune to their mind and get information and pass it to their owners. And this is my little mate, my little best friend. His name's Chico. Yes. So today, I'm sharing this information with you because I know that we're in really difficult times, unprecedented, times, and that you may be struggling, you may be feeling guilty because you can't take your animal out enough, your animal's over attentive, many reasons. However, I will say to you that animals are very forgiving. They actually understand a lot more than you realize. But at the end of the day, please try not to be hard on yourself, because we make mistakes, animals make mistakes, and these are difficult times. If we were to help our mindset, I would say that imagine that your animal had had an operation and the vet says you cannot walk your dog for, say, 12 weeks. Then you would have to adhere to that, and that is the way it would be. You'd have to cope. And people have been through that, animals have been through that over the years, and they've come out the other side, and everybody has coped. If we make mistakes, just forgive yourself, because we're human, we make mistakes. We're just doing the best that we can. Now, you might be at home, and your children are home with you, and you're doing some homeschooling. So why not try and involve your animals and fire up your kids' imagination? So you can say to them, right, we're going on a day escapism. Imagine that we could do anything we wanted, you and your pets. We can go anywhere we wanted. So write me a story and let their imaginations run free. And the animals can maybe fly and do all sorts of things, and just see what your children come up with. Game-wise, we can also involve our pets. And again, teaching your children to share, and your animals, teaching them to share as well, and to have manners. Also, same with your children. And again, I would say to understand that these times are difficult. And say, imagine like you have a new baby come into the house, and people worry that, oh, the older child, is going to be, acting up or jealous or whatever. So imagine that your pet is like that. So imagining your pet is that 3-year-old child. So you would have to make allowances. You would have to think, what would I do with that 3-year-old child? Because I can't just suddenly ignore them. So again, it's just changing your mindset and thinking, right, okay, and animals do like, perimeters and boundaries. So explain things to them. And if they do something that you don't want them to do, you just say to them, okay, enough, I'm not putting up with that, but I understand that maybe you are frustrated, so make allowances. Dogs, cats, whatever, often, especially dogs, get into routines. So if you're finding you cannot take your dog out for its routine walk at, say, 5 o'clock, and routines were set by us, then say about 4:45, you think, right, I'm going to do something else. So therefore, maybe give them their dinner early. Go out in the garden, play a game, do something that is out of the ordinary, so that therefore you will just break that routine. And if an animal is being very sort of like over attentive to you, remember, they pick up on your emotions. The animal might be able to trying to help you, or maybe they're feeling emotional themselves, so they need the reassurance from you. Either way, just try and understand that this is different for you and different for them, and we will make mistakes, but we're just doing the best we can in a very difficult situation. Also, one thing to remember is animals live by the day. They're not going to worry what's going to happen in 3 weeks' time, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever. They live by the day. If you make a mistake, say sorry, and you'll know what it's like. The animals just bounce back, and it's like, okay, come on, what can we do today? This is also a time that I would say is that maybe, because we have a lot of extra time with our pets that maybe we didn't expect, is to try and hone a skill and do something with them, say like taking photographs. Now, this is my little boy, who's a Jack Russell with very much a mind of his own. However, he's brilliant for taking photographs. He will just sit still, and wait till I've taken the photograph and then go running off and do what he wants once again. And that's because I've taught him bribery with pet treats, basically, but he's very good about it, and he looks like butter wouldn't melt, believe you, it does. But anyway, so maybe try and take photographs of your animals doing different things, videos if you want to, and just think you are actually spending good quality time with them, making the most of this time, but also you'll have these things to look at in the future. So the other thing I was going to say to you is, like, through stress, and in my pet grief book, I share a really useful tip. There's a thing called the thymus gland, which is just below that bumpy bit on our chest there. Now, if you look at children, they could be having the screaming abdabs 1 minute, and then a few minutes later, absolutely fine. Now, the reason for this is that they have a gland, the same as us, underneath, called the thymus gland. And in children, it's a lot more prevalent. But as we get older, we try and work things out, and just basically its use just does not become so prevalent. So therefore, what we're going to do is we're actually going to ask it to do some more work for us. So if you're feeling stressed, what I would say to you is, firstly, look up, because stress is emotional, and often if emotional, we will look down, and down is into the depths of despair. So to confuse your mind, look up and look at a spot on the wall and breathe in and breathe out. And while you're doing this, tap on that bony bit there, tap on this gland. So you're breathing in and breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose if you can, and breathe out, and tap on it like a drum. And just do this even for a minute, and you will feel that your stress comes down. Sometimes we can't do this in front of people. So what I sometimes do is say, oh, need a wee, I will disappear, go and do my tapping, breathing in, breathing out, and bringing my stress down. So what I want you to take from today is that your animals do understand a lot more than you realize. And if you make a mistake, forgive yourself. If they make mistakes and their behaviors really this will stop eventually. This is not going to last forever. So imagine it's like wartime. Suddenly we all have to stop, and we will learn to adapt. And from it, we will actually learn a lot. There's things that we've taken for granted for a long, long time. So maybe we'll realize, actually, there's things that we can learn from this. So be kind to yourself, be as kind as you can to your pets, let your children interact, just try and make the most of it. And if you're on your own, just really let your animal look after you, and you look after your animals the best you can. I hope this helps you. So for now, from Chico and I, who's now fell asleep, I just wish you to stay safe, stay as sane and as happy as you can, remembering this won't last forever. Just make the best of it that you can. Take care now. Look after yourselves.